Just a couple other, I guess, viewpoints to put it in your direction for your response on it. What about the concept that the facilities were, for the lack of a better phrase, as hardened against COVID as they possibly could, just a 0.08% positivity rate last year? So what would be the concern of actually appearing in a facility that has been set up similarly to last year for a voluntary workout?
The off season and the regular season are two completely different parts of the year with completely different rules on what would go on. So the off season, you only need to be there 4 days a week if you want credit. Those are the amount of days a team can hold you. Mm-hmm. So guys are free to leave. Guys didn't leave their home cities during the season. We had a virtual bubble. Guys stayed dedicated to staying in town, staying year-round, all year for the season. They tested every day. That will not be going on. So we don't know what our facilities will look like. So we can't compare what happened last year during the regular season to what will go on this year in the off season because the protocols will not be the same. There will be giant holes and openings for COVID to get in the building. And that's what guys are realizing, just how different the regular season would be compared to what this would look like as an off-season program.
And what about the concept of vaccination? That if everyone was vaccinated, that this might be a different scenario and a different conversation. What's the NFLPA's stance on having the membership vaccinated, J.C.?
We've provided information, and we have a great medical director in Tom Mayer, where we allow guys to ask those questions. I have gotten my first shot, but I won't be fully vaccinated until mid-May. And if you haven't gotten your first shot yet, you might not be fully vaccinated till June comes around, which is the entire off-season program. So vaccinations are great to talk about, but they're just not going to be part of this conversation as of right now, because just the timeline to get fully vaccinated wouldn't have been completed by the time that the off-season would be completed.
All right, so then let's look over the steering wheel towards a playing season that's coming up, J.C. Tretter. The league sent out a memo to essentially say league employees or team employees that are not vaccinated are not allowed around folks like you, Tier 1 and Tier 2. And it seemed to me, reading that memo, that I guess the league's leaving up the mandating concept of vaccinations to the union. So what is the union's stance on telling players to get vaccinated in time for the playing season? Is there one?
Yeah, the league's made it clear they're not gonna mandate vaccines for the players. And our stance is we're going to allow players to make their decision. We're providing them all the information. We think guys need to read it, understand it, and make the best decision for themselves. That's been our position, and that's what we need guys to do. And that's going to take time. That's going to take. We've seen kind of the slow growth in the vaccination rate in the NBA. That's not done overnight. Mm-hmm. It takes time, and that's why we're providing opportunities for guys to talk and learn and talk to our medical director and talk to experts on the field just to feel comfortable in what they're doing.
And so what's your general sense as the president? Do you think that there is a sense that much of the Players Association is going to get vaccinated in time for the season, or do you think that there is a considerable pushback? We saw my colleague at the NFL Network through his podcast, Kyle Brandt, talk to Josh Allen, and Josh definitely seemed like somebody who had to think about it and might actually lean against it. What's your general sense, J.C.?
I think we're people. So I always try to look at, we are just a microcosm of the general population. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll probably fall down a similar line of that. So I don't know. I don't think we're any different, or we look at the world any different. We are just normal people who have the same beliefs as people who aren't professional football players, and that's going to be kind of how we fall. But again, I think all of the vaccination talk, I think we're very hopeful that we will be back to normal and we can have full stadiums and have the fans back in September. But April isn't September, and we're nowhere near those points now. And that's one of the issues we're having right now is the NFL has this feeling of we're going to be normal for the regular season, so let's just go back to normal now. And we're not normal now.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.